Hi, guys, and welcome back to another episode of This Ordinary Life. I am your host, Ymna, and today we have a very special guest. But before I introduce you to him, I want to ask for a small favor. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on all social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Spotify, and Apple Music. And if you or someone you know wants to be featured on the podcast, please feel free to email me. I'd love to meet you and hear your story. So please don't be shy. Email me and tell me about you, and I'd love to have you on our podcast. So now, without any further ado, I want to introduce you to Mubarak Haruna. Mubarak is a 24-year-old, 25 years old
Hey,
program manager, product manager, and actor and model. Mubarak, how are you?
I am good, alhamdulillah.
Thank you for coming.
Of course, you're welcome.
So we briefly talked about you growing up in Nigeria. You're from Lagos.
I'm not from Lagos. That's where I grew up. I am from Auchi, Nigeria.
Okay.
Auchi, Edo State, Nigeria.
Ouchie what?
Auchi is the town.
Uh-huh.
Edo State is the state.
Oh.
And yeah,
Okay, Ouchie Do State.
Edo.
Edo State.
Yes.
Oh,
Nigeria,
cool.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
and
yes.
so you were born there and then grew up in Lagos.
I was born in Lagos and grew up in Lagos, but where I'm from is Auchi.
What does that mean, where you're from? I thought you were from, like, the place where you were born is where you're from.
No.
Okay, tell me about that.
So, both my parents are from Auchi.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm from Auchi.
I
Yeah.
see.
I mean,
Is it really different than Lagos? Is that why? Is it like...
I don't know how it is here in the States, but where your parents are from is where you're from. So it's not really like where I grew up. I don't consider to be a Lagosian. I am from Auchi. Yes.
Have you ever lived in Auchi?
I mean, we go there for special occasions, Eid, Ramadan. When I was younger, I believe the last time I was there was in 2014. One of my aunts was getting married, so yeah.
Okay. And what was it like growing up in Nigeria?
It was amazing. Alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful. My parents gave us everything that we needed to be successful in life. I think we're very sheltered, away from, all the hassles of Nigerian life. Went to private schools, throughout our education journey. And yeah, my parents just gave me the platform to be like who I am today, instilled a lot of religious values in me. I finished reading the Quran when I was 8 years old, so I always had
Finished reading the Quran?
yeah, like from front to from beginning
Wow,
to end.
mashallah.
Yes.
So you read Arabic?
I read Arabic, yes, but
Mashallah.
I don't speak Arabic. But,
And did you go to school to learn
So I had
Quran?
an Arabic teacher who would always come
To the house?
Yes, so I had a private Arabic teacher. Yes.
Okay. And was there anything about your childhood in Nigeria that stands out to you?
I would just say like being around family, like growing up, we're always around family. My parents are very hospitable, so I lived with many cousins, many uncles, aunts. Especially like celebrating Ramadan and Eid. They're so beautiful and different.
Different
just
than here?
different than here.
Okay.
Being with everyone, all your loved ones is special. So
Okay.
yeah.
So you grew up in Lagos, you went to high school in Lagos,
Lagos,
and
yes.
then you guys moved to, your family moved to America.
No, I came here for education and soccer.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Did you get
so
a
my
scholarship?
parents are back home in Nigeria.
Okay, yeah, so you
Yes.
live here alone.
No, most of my extended family is here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you came here for education and soccer. Did you get a scholarship?
Yes, I did both academic and sports.
Wow, mashallah.
Yes.
Nice. And where did you go to school?
So when I came here, I went to Merritt College in
Okay.
Oakland.
Okay.
It's a 2-year college, and then afterwards I transferred to St. Mary's College of California.
Okay.
So I have my associate's degree in math and computer science and bachelor's degree in math and computer science.
You love math.
Yeah. I mean, for you to study computer science, you have to know all the math.
That's true.
Yeah, so
Okay. And what was the transition like to America from Nigeria?
the transition was pretty seamless. I've always visited here when I was younger,
Okay.
so it wasn't like anything was new to me. And plus, I have family support here, so it was a very easy transition.
So you didn't, how many times were you here before you actually settled here?
Um, I think growing up, probably came here like 5 times. First time was in 2001.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
And then
But I will say, visiting here is very much different from
living. In what way?
Um, uh, in every way imaginable. Uh, yeah, you don't really get to see like true American like living. When you visit, it's almost like a facade, like Disneyland. Everything is amazing, and just like Hollywood, like this kind of yeah, facade picture. He like moved here for college. I think the first class I took in English literature was about like Jim Crow laws, and I'm learning about Dylan Roof, and all the discrimination, racism. I never knew about those concepts at all growing up because I was in a Nigerian household. Everyone I saw was black. Even people that were foreigners, everyone was hospitable and friendly. So learning about that kind of history here was really thought provoking for me.
What did you think? What did you think when you were learning about all this like slavery? Because it is the history of America.
Yes.
There isn't a reason for you to learn about it in Nigeria. It's not Nigerian history. It's American history.
Mm-hmm.
What was your feeling in learning about the country that you just moved to? How they viewed people that look like you, black people, and the history of slavery in America?
Yeah, asking the tough question. I mean, slavery is very, very unfortunate. The most terrible thing imaginable, like treating fellow human beings as like they're nothing or slaves,
Yeah.
So those conversations with like Africans and African Americans are always tough because the way we view the perspectives are very vastly different.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've talked to some of the African American friends I've made here, and they view slavery as like we sold them like away, and for profit or whatever. But like we view it in a different way. Like it's almost like they just had all the firepower and kind of like helpless. It's not like willingly want to sell our brothers and sisters away, but yeah.
And while you're learning about all of this, did you feel like your identity was threatened? Did you feel concerned? Like, did you feel anything at all while learning about slavery? Since it was something you didn't know about prior, and then you're learning about all of this chaos.
Oh yes, definitely. The power of stereotypes it's very distinct. Because the way Africans view African Americans is like, what is portrayed in the movies, like they're gangbangers, they're, causing havoc in society. But like when you get to like meet these people and hear their true stories, like you get a real perspective of like who they are. So I definitely like saw myself in them, like, imagining like if this happened to me or my family, and like I don't know my roots.
When you mentioned about your parents, that they instilled in you values that helped you throughout your life and continue to help you. What are some of the values that continue to influence you and that have influenced you that your parents instilled in you?
The biggest one for me will be humility.
Okay.
My dad always says like, you should hide in order to become a man, which means like
You should hide another to become a man?
No, you should hide in order to become a man.
Oh, okay.
That means you shouldn't like be proud of, whatever achievements you have or like that hard work, grit, determination. Obviously, African households, how they are, African parents. Um, they always wanted, even if I was, seemingly successful in what I was doing in my academics or sports, they always want me to even go harder. It's like,
It's never enough.
oh, you got an A minus. The person that got A plus, do they have two heads? You only scored one goal. Why didn't you score a hat trick? That chance you had, you should have. So that has carried on with me, like
Throughout life.
throughout life and where I am today.
So this is interesting. So are you familiar with like positive parenting and gentle parenting?
No.
Which is basically the complete opposite of what you just mentioned. Like, oh, honey, you got an A minus, it's okay. Oh, you got a D minus, it's okay.
Yeah. But
So it's to each their own. But having strict, would you say your parents were strict, or
yes.
so having strict African parents,
Mhm.
would you also raise your kids the same way?
I think there should always be a balance.
Okay.
With the tough love and the gentle love. So,
Okay.
there's some scenarios where you have to be a little tougher just so that value or principle can be instilled in them. Because I remember growing up, my dad would be like, when you're older, you understand why I was being so tough, or, and now I do understand.
Okay.
So, yes.
In what ways didn't you understand when you were younger?
I just thought like they were overbearing and, overprotective and maybe sometimes just being mean. Like a funny story, like during holidays, it's like you should be reading your books for the following semester that's coming. Every time you're playing PlayStation, give me that PlayStation, put it in my car, packed it away. It's like, it's holiday. I just finished another semester. Why do I have to read again? But like, yeah, just those kind of things. Like education, very, very important for them. Yeah.
So are those the parts that you would change in your parenting style?
Just giving, inshallah, my future children, the space for them to figure out like what they like, or explore life, like make some of those mistakes on their own, and then guide them.
Okay.
But it's also important to like make sure that you tell them like your own experiences, so they don't make the same mistakes that you made. But yeah.
Okay. And were there specific traditions within your family that you continue to do even when you're away from them?
Yes. Always praying in congregation.
Okay. Mashallah.
Very big, especially for my mom. It's like, come, let's pray Ashra together. Eating together. So just doing everything together as a family is very important for my parents. When it's time to make a decision, we make dua together. We pray together, especially during Ramadan, Taraweeh together. My dad leads Tahajjud, breaking bread together. So that close-knit relationship with my family.
You have siblings. You mentioned a brother and a sister. Are you the eldest, or are you
I'm the
middle?
oldest one.
You're the eldest. What was that like growing up as the oldest child?
Pressure. You have to be the best and set a good example for the younger ones. Be a positive role models, because my siblings always copy everything I'm doing, so I'm making sure I'm doing the right things.
It's a lot of responsibility. What's the age gap between you and your siblings?
So I'm 25. My brother is about to turn 23, and my sister is 21.
Okay. Are you close to them?
Of course.
Okay.
I can imagine people that say, everyone has their circumstances, but very close to my siblings.
Okay. Like best friends?
Oh, yes.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
To both sister and brother.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And your sister is the only girl
Yes.
and two boys.
Yes. She's the
You,
youngest.
you guys must be. Oh, and she's the youngest.
Yes.
Very overprotective
Oh,
older
yes.
brother.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Is it like borderline father? You play the father role a little bit with her?
Oh, like I have her location all the time. Yeah. I know where she is, where she's going, what she's doing, what friends she's with.
Okay.
So yeah.
So your parents were back home.
Mm-hmm.
What's your mom's name?
My mom's name is Aisha.
Aisha. Describe Aisha in 3 words.
Beautiful, kind, and loving.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me about her growing up. What was your relationship like? How did she influence you as a child, or did she influence you as a child?
My mom is a very lovely woman, very special to my heart, and not just to me. Like everyone she comes across, like they all have glowing, positive things to say about her. I'll describe her as someone who's very passionate.
Right, what's your dad's name?
Abubakar.
Abu Bakr.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
Abubakar. I don't know.
Oh, Abu Bakr.
Oh, is this the way I'm saying it with my accent?
Abu Bakr.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Okay, it's the African accent.
I love
Abubakar.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. And Abu Bakr in 3 words.
Wow. Sophisticated, leader, and gentle.
Gentle.
Yes.
That's interesting because you just described him as this like super strict influence in your life. In
Yeah.
what ways was he gentle?
I'll say my dad is a very inspirational and motivational person. So he's a very
Okay.
good storyteller. So he tells a lot of stories about his life in order to inspire, me or my siblings and my siblings, to do better. So I think those are kind of the ways he's gentle.
Okay. And what was your relationship with him like growing up?
I would say definitely tough love from him.
Tough love.
Yes.
Okay. That's usually the role dads play,
Yes.
the tough love role.
Yes.
And would you have liked it for it to be another role?
No, I loved it like that.
You appreciate it now.
I think I appreciated it then, but I didn't know.
Okay.
But yeah.
So let's move a little bit to you. When did you first start understanding your identity and who Mubarak is?
Wow. I think it's happened a couple times over my life. It's always been transformational. So for me, I've always known I'm Muslim first. I am, African, Nigerian, and and my culture, I'm Afenmai, I'm from Auchi, Itsako. Those are like my 3 core identities. But while growing up, I actually wanted to be a doctor. But I can't really stand the sight of blood and dissecting. Once I heard like you have to do all that, I'm like, nah. And then that's when my passion for like computers and how they work and function like really grew. Like when I was like 7, 8, and so I always wanted to do something like tech related. But my first love and passion was football. I thought by now I'd be a pro, but
So what happened?
I don't know, reasons best known to me. And now I've discovered my passion, more creative side, away from STEM focused, in acting and modeling, which I never thought I would do, but it's something that I've always been passionate about, like growing up. So yeah, there've been different transformations. Who knows what I'll be like 5 years from now? But
Okay. So who is Mubarak?
like describing him in words, or
Who are you? Who are you beyond the titles, beyond actor, model?
wow, deep. Wow. What a question.
Go for it.
Who's Mubarak? Hmm. Wow.
It is.
I don't think I've ever sat down and asked myself.
Are you? So is that?
I know it now. Um, Mubarak is someone who is passionate about serving the community, especially those who don't have the privilege or resources, to achieve their dreams. Everything that I do, whether it be acting, modeling, tech related, is just to show people that, you know, you can achieve your dreams. Like, don't let anyone tell you what you can or can't do, even if you're labeled as you're this thing. Like, you're so much more than that, you know. So I just want to inspire people, like, through the things I do, that, whatever you set your heart or mind to, like, you can achieve it, especially with Allah's grace, also, you know, supplementing with prayer. Yeah, that that's who I think I am.
Why is that important for you? That it's part of your identity?
What part exactly?
That you want to help people and help them realize their potential, and why is that part of who you are?
Because, especially for people like us, there are a lot of labels of what we are, right? And we're so much more than that. And a lot of people don't see that in themselves. They feel so distraught, or, they feel like they can never be anything. So it's important to bring that hope, back into people, especially in the society we live in today. Um, it's important.
Yeah. Okay. So when with Mubarak, with
Mm.
no titles,
Mm.
Mubarak that you just described to me, when would he know that he's made it? When would you know that
Wow.
you've arrived?
Hmm. I mean, the automatic question for most people will be like, I own my own software company. I am a big Hollywood actor and a super international model. But, the money and the fame is not really like what drives me. It's it's mostly about, honestly, like, just making my family proud, or um, more about, like, through all the things I do, like, the impact that it has on people. If it's having a positive impact on them, that is like what I'm more concerned about. And they're able to, like, relate to my story and, find some inspiration from that. I
Okay.
don't know if I answered well, but
There's no right or wrong answer.
answer, I know.
It's, I think that makes a lot of sense. I think ultimately a lot of us deep down will be the happiest if we make our parents proud. Like that's a deep core like value that most people have, especially if you have parents as great as yours and you want to just make them happy. That's 100% like that's 100% goal to have. That would make you feel fulfilled. Like, wow, my dad is happy, my mom's happy. So I think that was a good answer.
Yeah.
What philosophies do you live by when no one's watching?
Hmm. Philosophies I live by. I wouldn't really say I live by any philosophies. I just want when people interact with me or they meet me, like they just know I'm Muslim.
Mm.
Yeah.
That is very interesting.
Yeah. So I
How?
want to live my life in a way, in the way of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's the prayer I've always prayed
Wow.
from, childhood. So, people talk about like when you're around someone, like you feel peace or you feel like that nur, you know. So that's the kind of person um, I want people to like see me as.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Um, and then that also makes sense why you like to help people, because that's what, well, that was one of the main things the Prophet used to do. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Sallallahu alaihi
Wow.
wasallam.
Okay. Um, do you feel that you are often understood? Let me clarify
Yeah.
that who you really are, who Mubarak is. Again, no titles. Do you feel like Mubarak is often understood, or you feel like sometimes you're not?
To me, what I most care about is my family. As long as they understand me, which they do, I am at peace. I feel like
Okay.
most people that don't know me, like they know me through like social media or the things I do. You just think like, oh, who even is this guy? Like he does this or does this or that. Like, I'm much more than that. Um, so yeah, it's okay if people misunderstand me or anyone, as long as you stay true to your principles and you know who you are
Mm,
on the inside. That is what matters more.
mm,
So I don't seek for people to understand me, like I don't like to explain myself too much. Um, it should like show through my actions, like who I am as a person.
mm,
And like if anyone ever needed any clarification, like just talk to me and I'll tell you who I am.
mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what do we need to know about your past to understand you now?
Hmm. What do you need to know about my past to understand me now? Yeah, brilliant question. Um, I'll say I've not always been how I am now. Like now, I'm more extroverted and confident in myself. But I wasn't always this way. I was always very introverted, timid, shy, just like I'm stuck in a box, like just so unsure of myself. Like,
Mm,
am I talented? Am I good at anything? I'll constantly ask my mom, like, even funny things like, Mom, I think I'm ugly.
mm,
She's like, why would you say that? Like, oh, I have acne all over my face,
mm,
whatever. She's like, you're a beautiful boy. Why would you ever think of that of yourself? You should always think, positive things. And I feel like, in the past, since I was so introverted and like stuck in my own bubble, I missed out on a lot of opportunities because I wasn't willing to like take that leap or talk to that person just because I was so like timid.
mm,
Um, but I think um, the schools I went to, Merit and St. Mary's, and my family's support has made me more bold and willing to take on the world now. So yeah, I think that's what people need to know about my past.
So you think that your time in university changed your
Yes,
perception of yourself?
definitely. Like I
Wow.
wouldn't be able to have this conversation with you right now, like 4 years ago.
Mm,
Impossible. I'll be shaking.
okay.
Yeah.
What do you think contributed to your insecurities before?
Hmm. Um, I think, being sheltered, especially by my parents, like not really seeing the world, and you know, and also I went to all boys school, like high school, so
Mm.
no girls there. So we had a very, everything was just about football and talking about, you know, yeah, you know what boys talk about. That's
Yeah.
all it was. So,
I actually don't know
um,
what boys talk about, but I can only
yeah,
imagine.
you can only imagine. So yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So you feel like it was a lack of exposure.
lack of exposure. Yeah,
Okay. And would you say you've faced some hardships in your life?
definitely. Woo. Yeah, many a time.
Many a time.
Hmm.
Care to share?
Yeah, there are too many.
Oh my god. Okay.
Um, one of my biggest supporters, coming here was my uncle, Uncle Ishmael Delta Ikaro. Um,
Shout out to him.
Shout out to him. Um, yeah, that was my guy. You know, when I started at Merit, first year, it's like for every A you get, I'll give you $100.
Mm.
Motivation, 5 A's, $500. Yes. Next semester, another 5 A's. Supporting me, anything you need, taking me to orientation and telling me how to navigate, scholarships and just everything. He was everything. So he passed in 2020 in December,
Larham.
and yeah, it was tough because one of his dreams was, to see me graduate from college,
Mm.
and um, yeah, that loss was uh, very tough, not just for me, but for the whole family. Even I can even say for the whole of Nigeria and even the
Mm.
Nigerians here. He was an icon, a legend, someone who was very passionate about education, especially education as like that golden key to transform your life.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, that's one of the biggest, let's say, challenges I've faced. Because when he wasn't, I mean, he's here with me in my heart, but like physically, seeing him there, um, yeah, was a source of motivation for me to keep going. So, you know, when he passed, it was like, how do I find this motivation again? You know. Um, so yeah, that's just one of many. But
Mm.
if I talk about all of them, it'll be too long. But yeah,
Well, I'm sorry to hear about your uncle. Allah yarhamu.
I mean,
How did you deal with his passing? It seems like he was a very special person to you.
mm, I've not dealt with it to this day.
Mm.
Yeah, I've not. Mm, I'd attended a friend's janaza, uh, 2-3 months ago, and that's when it just dawned on me. Like, that's when I finally like broke down. You're
Mm.
probably there as well,
Yes.
but yeah, because I wasn't able to attend his burial, back home.
Mm.
Um,
How come?
I mean, I was in school, and you know, we're in the middle of the season, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, it's one of my biggest regrets, like being able to like give him like that final, goodbye. But yeah, just that's why it's encouraged in Islam for you to, attend janazas, because ultimately that's all going to be like our final, end. Um, but just seeing my friend like lowered into the
Mm.
grave, automatically, all the pictures of all the family members I've lost and friends, and even people I didn't know just came into my head, and I just couldn't stop crying because it was, yeah, tough. Yeah.
Yes. What has death taught you about life?
It has taught me that your life doesn't begin until you pass on or like you die. So you have to live your life in such a way that Allah will be pleased with you, in everything that you do. Always, always know Allah is watching you. So that's very like important for me. Because alhamdulillah, I always pray for my family, loved ones, friends, that we all attain Al-Jannah Firdaus and reunite. So, I don't want to die in a state that Allah wouldn't be pleased with me. So I always try to lead my life in such a way that, you will be pleased. So, inshallah.
So you did mention that you've faced a lot of hardships in your life, some controlled, some uncontrolled,
Unforeseen circumstances. Yes, that's how my dad describes them.
Ultimately, everything is in the hands of God.
Mm-hmm.
However, in what ways do you feel like you contribute to the hardships in your life, the ones that are not unforeseen circumstances?
I would say me being stubborn. Like, I want to achieve everything by myself. But my parents would tell me, like, you need help. I ask people for help, ask for support. But I'm like, nah, I feel like I'm bothering people. So I never, ever do that. So I feel like if I had been willing to, ask for support or guidance or help, I feel like I would be even, even be in a even much better place than I am now. Yeah. So I'm very, very stubborn in that way.
What's a better place? What does a better place look like?
Better place, better maybe career-wise. Maybe I'll be playing pro. Yeah.
So soccer. You feel like you'll be a better place in soccer or in life in general?
In
With
life
your
in
career?
general.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. In what way? What could you have asked for help in?
Like in terms of like, when I was applying to college and writing all these essays, asking for support from people who have, gone through that process, you know, to ask them like the do's and don'ts or the resources that they use to get full rides. Because that was big, um, a big goal, especially for my parents, that get a full scholarship, I didn't get quite a full scholarship, but paid for like half of it. But yeah, if I had been willing to, ask for help, I probably would have gotten a full ride. And in terms of like career wise, just networking with people and trying to get a mentor to like guide me, like who has already been there, done that. Yeah, I think that would have helped. I probably would have maybe had like a senior role by now.
Okay.
But yeah,
Well, it's not too late.
it's not too late.
You're 25.
Yeah.
Very young.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit to something really exciting, such as love.
Is love exciting? Okay.
Isn't it?
I guess so. If you say it is, it is. It is.
Is it to you? I don't know.
It's exciting.
Okay. So, what is love to you?
think love is boundless. Like you you love someone in every circumstance, situation. Like it has no constraints.
Mm.
And I feel like the most powerful type of love is when you love someone like for the sake of God.
Mm.
Yeah. Because human beings will always hurt you, always disappoint you one way or the other. So if you love them for Allah's sake, you're able to like look past, some of those things. And like you care more about their akhirah than whatever goes on here, like with trials and tribulations and fights and arguments. Um, like that's the purest kind of love, I would say.
Mm. So you're saying that loving someone for the sake of Allah helps you overlook their flaws?
Yes, because we're in created to be perfect. Because Allah said,
Okay.
if we're perfect, it will destroy all creation and create another, set that will be imperfect, so they can seek guidance from Him.
Mm.
So
Do you think that all flaws are forgiven under the name of God?
yes,
All flaws.
yes,
Interesting.
yes. Allah is most forgiving.
I'm not
Or are you
saying
saying from
for you. So
for
you're
me?
saying, yeah, so you're saying that flaws are often, we can overlook them for the sake of Allah.
Mm-hmm.
Can all flaws be overlooked for the sake of Allah?
It's dicey. Depends on the situation, but the perspective I was looking at it from is like if Allah's loves to forgive, and we often seek forgiveness from Him, and inshallah, we expect to be forgiven. Like, who are we not to forgive, others? So, yeah.
Okay. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because then what I'm hearing, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Mm-hmm.
is that anyone can do anything wrong, or anyone can have as many flaws as possible, and it's okay because we love them for the sake of Allah.
Wow. Now you're putting it in a different way. That's interesting.
I mean, if that's your truth, like if that's your opinion, that's fine. But I'm trying to understand.
Can you say it one more time? Let me digest it.
So, what I'm hearing you say is that it's important, the highest level of love is the love for the sake of Allah,
Mm-hmm.
correct? And that is because that helps you overlook people's flaws. And then you followed by saying that every flaw can be forgiven under the premise of love for the sake of Allah. My question is, are all flaws forgiven under the premise of loving someone for the sake of Allah? So someone can wrong you and then you could still continue to love them and overlook those flaws for the sake of Allah?
No, in that case, because if that person's flaw is taking you away from Allah, then
Okay.
you have to set a boundary.
Okay. What if it's not taking you away from Allah, but it's hurting you otherwise?
I mean, you have to protect your heart. So it's dynamic. It's not like a all-encompassing kind of thing, but yeah, it's very situational.
Situational. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as it's not all love, not
Yeah.
all flaws are forgiven
No,
for
no,
the
no,
sake
no,
of
no.
Allah. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember once it was explained to me because, growing up, we would go to lectures and then we would hear like, oh, love your friend for the sake of Allah. And I was always like, what does that mean, loving someone for the sake of Allah?
Mm-hmm.
And one of my teachers was saying that it's like I love you because you bring me closer to Allah. You
Mm.
help me. Like our love is based on Allah, right?
Mhm.
On God. So it would make sense that if your love takes me away from Allah, that it's no longer Allah for the sake of Allah.
Exactly.
But I think the older we get, the more we realize that there's other things. You can still help. You can still remind me to pray, but you can be hurting me in other ways as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's tricky.
It is tricky.
And you can also love someone and still set boundaries and keep your distance. I believe you can.
Yeah.
But this is not about me. It's about
Yeah.
you. So
Yeah.
so it's interesting. Okay. What is a woman to you?
Whoa. If this makes it to the blooper, see what she's doing to me. She's trying to get me cancelled. Wow, these questions are deep.
Do you think I came here all the way to Oakland to ask you about your favorite color?
Hey. What is a woman to me? You have to give me a second. You just got to cut after you say,
I'm keeping all this in.
hey. Please.
What is this? Hey.
Please.
Listen, I understand.
I've never thought about these questions. I went to an all-boys school. I don't know.
It doesn't have to be what is a woman. What is a woman? What does a woman represent to you? Does it represent? I don't want to like give you answers, but what does a woman or women in your life have represented to you? What do women that you seek in the future? What would you want them to represent to you? Like, what does a woman represent to you? It doesn't have to be like a romantic relationship.
I feel like a woman represents life, you know.
Life?
Yes.
Okay.
They're the ones that bring us into this world.
True.
And love as well. Because, you know, for you to seek Jannah, you know, it's under your mother's feet 3 times before your father. I think women represent everything good about the world.
What a politically correct
No.
answer. Tell me how you really feel.
No, that's how I really feel.
Okay.
Sometimes, like, you could just see a lady and it could be a source of motivation for you to keep going. Not kidding. Yeah.
So a woman is a source of life. And what is it about manhood that women do not understand? Hey, now we're talking.
She has asked us, so now I have to. Am I looking at the camera? What a lot of women don't understand about men is that we go through our own things. Like, seriously, a lot of women think that men don't go through anything, or, you know, yeah, we're also emotional. You know, under that whole wall of being tough and strong and taking it all in, you know, women need to create a space for men to feel vulnerable and safe sharing how they really feel. Because sometimes, and there are so many examples, the reason why men don't share like how they really feel is because most times women will use it against them. And most times they don't know that they're doing this, but ultimately it somehow always happens. Yeah.
Okay. So something you would want women to know about men is that you guys also go through your own emotional journeys. Okay. what does it feel like to be loved to you?
Mm. Um, wow. God, oh. You came here with all the presidential questions. Let's see.
This is a presidential question?
Like, you know, when you're getting to know the candidate. Yes. Uh, to me, it is reassurance and support.
Mm.
Because sometimes I'm not always sure about myself, or, just that positive reaffirmation like, Mubarak, you're that guy.
Mm.
You're great. You know, and then supporting me in my, goals as and vice versa. Um, yeah.
Mm. So what does it feel to love?
Hey. Boy, oh boy. For those of you who would be future guests, get ready.
I feel like I'm being very lenient with you.
I know. Never asked myself any of this.
You should.
Hey.
I love this. Hey.
I need to tap more into my emotional side. I don't know any of this. I feel fulfilled, like my heart is complete.
Okay.
That's what I feel loving someone.
Okay.
So that's how it is, with my parents and my siblings, loving them every day makes me feel complete. When you have like that feeling of like just like peace, and like, you don't have any worries, or, yeah, as long as like they're fine and healthy, I'm happy. Yeah, so,
Okay. Um, who do you love the most in your life right now?
hey.
You in this hey.
As a Nigerian, I've not even given you full Nigerian accent. Scatter this.
You should.
What do I love the most in my life right now? Hey, you want to get me in trouble?
No. You don't have to mention names. You could also just say you do have someone or you don't have someone, or it could also be your mom. But I'm not going to accept mom as an answer. It's a cop out.
I love my family the most right now.
Okay. We can roll with that. If your heart... Why you look like you're in pain? If you took your heart out and put it in front of you, what would it say to you?
Wow. I don't think it would be happy with who I am as a person. And I say that because like sometimes I can be like too worried about what I have going on in this dunya, and like just trying to. Even my mom will call me like, "When's the last time you read Quran?" And like in Ramadan. It's like you have to always read your Quran, and So like I'll say I try to be a good Muslim, try to make my prayers, but there can always be more, like praying the Sunnah prayers and making sure I do uh uh my morning and evening adkar, and attending more lectures, and um you know crying to Allah during tahajjud, like more of that. And most times when I'm not doing it, like I'm very in tune with myself. Like my heart, my body tells me like you should be doing this, or you're praying late, or you missed that prayer. Like yeah, like I need to do much better in those situations. Even with the best Muslims who are on Deen, there's always something you can do more. Like when you reflect. Um, so yeah, even like acts of service, like giving. It's not only like reserved to like during Ramadan where you give sadaqah or charity. Like outside of it, you know. Yeah.
One more question about love, and we'll move on to a topic that's more enjoyable to you, because you
Thank
seem like
God.
you're in pain this entire segment. um, when do you love yourself the most?
Hmm. Should have started with this. Yeah, when I love myself the most, like I'm on top of my prayers. I'm praying consistently. I'm working out consistently. I am, driven towards my goals and aspirations. Like those three things for me, it's like I'm so focused. Like I'm hyper focused. Like I feel like I'm unstoppable in those moments. I wake up, pray Fajr, do my adkar, go to the gym. After gym, I'm at work. And I come back. Same process. Uh, pray all your prayers, and yeah, you just like your mind is just like tunnel vision. Like you're focused on the important things, your health, your spiritual well being, and like more of like your I don't know, like sense of imagination is like it's lit up. So yeah.
So when you're not on your A game, which is everything you just mentioned, and we're humans, right? Sometimes we miss prayers, sometimes we miss a day at the gym, whatever, right? How do you connect to yourself?
It's always tough because I know I should be doing these things, but for some reason, life happens. Um, how I connect myself is like I constantly know like what I should be doing in order to achieve the goals I want to have. Um, so I just, set a game plan like, we go again tomorrow, even if I procrastinate. Like I just know like I have to get back on top of this. So just like a constant self reminder. Yeah.
Okay. So let's switch gears to soccer. So I don't know anything about soccer. I just go to our soccer meetups on Saturday, just for the vibes. I don't know anything about soccer, but I do know that it's huge in the African community. It's huge in Egypt. I know that it means a lot to you. So tell me about your love for soccer.
Straight from the womb, I was playing. You can ask my mom. She was always feeling a lot of pain because I'm kicking. Yeah. So when I was younger, I supported Arsenal because that's the team.
Wow, I know that team.
That's the team my dad supported or supports. So I didn't know any better. I just followed what my dad was supporting. And Thierry Henry was my idol. Growing up, I wanted to be him. We used to call him Igwe. Every time he touched the ball. Yeah, so I've talked about this many times. Growing up, I used to play with everything imaginable, like a plastic bottle, like uh, a ball made out of sellotape and paper. Like I would play with everything. I have so many scars to attest to all the injuries I had. Playing on concrete. Um, every time I played football, that's when I felt free. It's like I could care less about what was happening in the world or any pain or troubles. Anything I had was like zero. I was just so happy. I don't know if you've ever felt that euphoria of like when you score a goal. It's amazing. It's indescribable. Yeah, just like every young African boy, you want to grow up and be the next Ronaldinho or yeah, Zidane, Pele. So yeah, that was my dream. It still is, but we'll see.
So, who's your favorite team now?
They're going to clown me. It's two teams, okay? So it's Manchester United and Real Madrid.
Okay.
Yes. So Manchester United is an English team and Real Madrid is a Spanish team.
Okay. Why are these your favorite teams?
It's just because of one player, Cristiano Ronaldo. So, he played for United, and when he made that move to Madrid, it's like automatically I'm a Madrid fan now as well. So
Isn't he in Saudi now?
he's in Saudi now.
He plays for the Saudi team?
Yeah, Al Nassr.
Al Nassr. Okay.
Al-Nassr.
And so who's your favorite player of all times? Who's the GOAT, in your opinion?
Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't care what anyone says.
There's another one that people love.
Messi.
Messi, yes.
Whatever. Cristiano Ronaldo for me. And it's not just because of his talent, football wise, is his work ethic. Like throughout every sport that there is, everyone looks up to Ronaldo's work ethic. He's so driven. Like the amount of hours that he's put in to be where he is today is incredible. He takes proper care of his body, nutrition. He's working harder than everyone else, arriving to training hours before everyone is there, and being the last person to leave the field or the gym. Doing everything that you can humanly do to be great. You learn that from him, and you can apply it to any field that you're in. In order for you to be outstanding at what you do, it's a constant everyday effort that you have to put in. Intentional effort. You're able to identify your weak points and work on it and be better. That's what I'll always remember him as, being probably the hardest working athlete of all time, bar none.
Okay.
Yep.
And would you encourage your future son or daughter to pursue soccer?
Hey, of course. 100%. As soon as you're out of the womb, academy. We're not playing. Yes,
they have no choice.
Yes.
What if they went in basketball?
I mean, I'll make sure they explore, all sports, all arts and crafts, and see what they like. But obviously, it'll give me some joy if, one of them or all of them decide to pursue football. And, all the knowledge I have now, I'm able to guide them in that path in order to, inshallah, become a professional in it, with some of the mistakes maybe I made.
Have you thought about coaching? Or like just coaching any type of league?
No, it'll give me too much heartbreak because I'm supposed to be the one on the field,
So why aren't
being
you?
the captain of Nigeria and scoring a World Cup goal, not on the bench.
Why aren't you on the field?
I feel like obviously everyone who has ever seen me play football knows I'm talented, alhamdulillah. But I quickly realized like talent is not enough for you to, become a pro.
Mm.
You need so much more. Like they say, hard work will always be talent when talent doesn't work hard. So
Mm.
for me, I feel like I didn't want it bad enough.
Mm.
I didn't really push myself and, do everything. I tried, but yeah, maybe I was too distracted. Well, I think the main reason is, okay, let me say this. I was more concerned about my academics than I was with football. So I would miss training in order to study more so I can get that A. Because my dad will always hammer, make sure you graduate summa cum laude, summa cum laude, summa cum laude. So education was more of a priority over football for me. Um, that is the main reason.
So do you feel like if your parents would have pushed you more towards soccer?
100%.
Okay.
He knows it. He was like, now that I think of it, I should have should have gone to university in England.
Mm.
Because that was actually the plan. I was supposed to go to Loughborough University in Leicester, but for some reason I ended up in America. But yes,
God's plan.
God's plan.
So is it too late now for you to try to join something professional?
My friend A-Team, he always tells me, once you're at 25, I don't know. But, it was even telling me just yesterday is like Jamie Vardy is a popular soccer player. Started or really his career started kicking off when he was 25. Some players have not have played their first game for their national team in their 30s. So it's never too late as long as you put your mind to it and you seek Allah's help. Everything is possible. Like on my Instagram, I write with Allah, everything is possible. So yeah,
So is soccer more than a sport for you?
it's an outlet for me to release all my emotions and where I feel like completely happy and at peace.
In college, you were on a soccer team.
Yep.
High school.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Played a Nigeria under-17 national team.
Wow.
Had a trial with the LA Galaxy. Played for some semi-pro teams while in college and after. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think it's not too late. Honestly, genuinely, 25, especially in this day and age, anything's possible. Was there anything else about soccer that you wanted to share?
No, that's pretty much it.
Okay. I want to talk about your career, not so much product management, but your choice in pursuing modeling and acting.
Okay.
In the beginning, when we first spoke, you told me that something that your father always instilled in you was humility. Talk to me about that, your desire to stay humble at where it's a value in your life, while also pursuing a career that's very it begs a lot of attention and a lot of stardom. You know what I mean? Not to say that celebrities are not humble, but that's not the first attribute you think of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So the reason why, or I'm not pursuing, acting and modeling because of stardom or fame. It's more of black people should be telling black stories. That is what it is for me. Like that authenticity part. Yeah, especially with all the stereotypes, a black person can be Superman and, Nigerian people aren't all scammers, We're brilliant. A lot of great things have come out of, that country. In fact, we're the most educated immigrant population in the entire state. So, yeah, most people don't know that. So, being able to tell those stories. Because storytelling has such a profound impact on people. Most people, the way they get their information is either from the media or someone told me or you sought that knowledge for yourself. Um, so it's important to change those narratives and have more authentic stories being told about the culture, the history, and yeah.
How did you get into modeling and acting?
Yes, with modeling, my cousin Tariq, he he started a fashion brand, Flavors World. Think it's probably been like 8, 9 years. So while I was in college, he signed me to be his like first model. So that's how I got started. So with the new hoodies and shirts and all the collections that will drop, we'll have photo shoots, put it on Instagram. Um, Noir model is more of a French brand who I also modeled for. Um, Modeled for Nike, modeled even for Dr. Martens.
So it all started from your cousin.
From my cousin.
Wow. And then you put yourself out there and brands started reaching out to you.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. Started like posting more of like, photo shoots. And when I meet people, they're like, are you a model? I keep on getting like those comments. I'm like, maybe I should pursue. So I have like a whole like profile of like, all my creative, work and photo shoots I've participated in. So yeah, brands reach out. I'm also represented with a talent agency called Productions Plus. So I'm able to get like some of those opportunities like even faster. And with acting, so I attended the St. Mary's College of California.
Yes.
Didn't go there to study theater or
Is it a theater college?
Or film. They have a very good film and theater program, probably one of the best in the country.
Wow. Okay.
I studied math and computer science there. But while I was there, I was blessed to attend some of the plays there, and watching my fellow classmates act these characters. I'm like, I can do that too. Even while growing up, me and my brother will always imitate cartoon voices or try and improvise, different situations. So it's always been something I've been doing. So this actor, Mahershala Ali, I don't know if you're familiar.
Love him. Yeah.
He came on campus and he was previewing one of his new films on Apple TV called Swan Song.
Okay.
It's a sci-fi film. And just listening to his experiences at the college, because he
graduated from St. Mary's.
Yes, he played basketball there and he studied film and theater.
Wow.
So just hearing his experiences, I was so inspired, by him, and during the Q&A, I got to ask him a question about like, how do you pursue this career and stuff, and gave me all the tools I needed, to succeed. So, after graduating college, while applying for jobs, and everyone is like, unfortunately, after careful consideration, I'm like, okay, what do I do now? So that's when, I set up my acting profile on Backstage. It's like the biggest platform for, actors and auditions and all that stuff. So I applied for a short film. I applied for many opportunities, but there was this short film called Liam's Journey. So I got a call back for an in-person audition, which the director and producers thought I did extremely well in, and I got the lead role in that.
Wow.
Amazing experience. It actually comes out later this month, so I'm excited to see it.
Okay.
So from there,
where can people watch it?
So it's gonna be more like film festivals.
Okay.
But inshallah, I plan to have like a preview with friends.
Nice.
You'll be invited so you can see.
Oh, thank you.
So from there, I've gotten a couple commercial opportunities. I did a commercial for Urban Ed Academy as a nonprofit organization, and the campaign was why Black teachers are important in the classroom. I did another one for an artificial intelligence company called BMC as well. I just finished shooting another short film called A Camel's Desertion.
I saw some of that on your Instagram
Yes.
that you sent me. Really nice.
Yes.
Really nice.
So yeah, and there are a lot more opportunities that are coming up. I just have to reply to
Oh,
them.
okay.
But
Mashallah.
yeah.
So is the plan to get to Hollywood?
Um, if that's what Allah has in store for me, sure. I mean, it's a hobby for me, but the way it's going, it's getting more serious day by day.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be opposed to it,
Mm.
but I wouldn't want that industry to compromise my values or anything. That is very important to me.
If your uncle, Ishmael,
Mm-hmm.
was in that room right now and you had 1 minute with him, what would you tell him?
I will tell him I love him so much. I'll give him the biggest hug. Um, Honestly, we'll just laugh about everything because we always talked about any and everything. Um, yeah, I can't imagine what that would feel like. Well, inshallah, we're reunited in Al Jannah Firdaus, but yeah, it will be a lot of I love yous and hugs and just talking about life.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. And Mubarak in 3 words.
Mm. Most people will say I'm confident, passionate, and driven, but for me, I would say I am funny, playful, and very calm.
Mm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Mubarak, thank you so much.
of course.
I had an amazing time. I hope you did as well.
I did.
It's been a pleasure, honestly. And yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure is all mine. Thank you for
Thank
having me
you.
on your podcast. And guys, remember to subscribe to all the channels: TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. I don't know what other apps there are. But yes.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see you guys next episode. Bye.
See ya.